What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is going to be a short little video kind of talking to you about a theory that my buddy had the other night that I thought was interesting enough that I wanted to make a short video talking about. Now, I'm assuming that most of you watching this already know everything about Dragon's Dogma 2 and know that it's going to be one of the biggest contenders for Game of the Year this year. There is a lot of people that never played Dragon's Dogma 1. I don't blame them. The game wasn't very advertised. Even I played Dragon's Dogma 1 by complete random chance, and then it turned out to be one of the greatest games that I've ever played. Dragon's Dogma 2, the only thing that I'd say they're kind of really dropping the ball with is this game should have been co-op. It isn't, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt the game, but my God, it would have been just next level. Maybe we'll have co-op DLC added. I doubt it. Anyways, the theory that my buddy had was with all of the classes that we've got shown right now, he mentioned that they're all color coded. And I just went like, wait a minute, that's true. You might be onto something there, dude, because with all of these classes being color coded, it means that there's actually quite a few classes that we haven't seen yet. So namely, in Dragon's Dogma 1, it might have changed in Dogma 2, the fighter would end up having, would be a basic class all the way up to the mage. These were like the 4 starter classes, right? But by leveling up the fighter, you could go to the advanced vocation, which would end up being the warrior, which is the 2-handed greatsword class, right? Now, maybe this is just a starting class now. I don't know. I'm still assuming that we're going to have advanced classes because the mage going into the sorcerer makes sense as an advanced class because the sorcerer is more damage focused, whereas the mage is more of a support class. Maybe all of these are just basic classes now, and they changed that from Dragon's Dogma 1. However, one of the things that we'll notice with the hybrid classes is they are a combination of the two. So based on the colors of the magic archer, you can see this is a mage slash archer because it's going to take the blue and yellow. And then if we look at it, the class itself is actually very, very unique and different. So the reason why this is impressive is because in Dragon's Dogma 1, you could do your own hybrid classes, but they weren't as defined as they seem to be in Dogma 2. So like, for example, you could level up all of the different classes in Dogma 1 and you could take different passives from them and kind of combine them to be something kind of unique, but you still had your primary class abilities that would ultimately not change that much. Whereas in Dogma 2, it seems like the hybrid classes are like full classes. Now, that means if these hybrid classes are a combination of 2 others, you'll notice the Mystic Spear Hand. This is going to end up being a warrior slash mage. And then the Trickster is purple and pink. There is no purple and pink colors over here yet. So there's a very high probability that there are at least 2 more base classes or advanced classes that we haven't seen yet. I'm assuming it would be something towards a healer and maybe a summoner, just based on the fact that the Trickster's abilities are very much about summoning a ghost and kind of luring enemies over and stuff like that. That, you know, that's just a theory. But my main point is, if we're still going to end up having a purple and pink class, it stands to reason that the variety classes over here, the hybrid classes, are probably going to give like double the amount. There's probably going to be at least 6 of them minimum because we don't actually see any combination of thief. My point being is that we're not seeing specific combinations with some of these other colors, namely thief is the biggest one that makes it very, very obvious that there is definitely a lot more classes that we haven't seen yet. Now, I don't know if the game is going to end up going absolutely big mode and making it so that you can combine all classes into hybrid classes. That would be very, very cool. And that would essentially mean that we would have like 20 classes or something ridiculous in this game. I doubt that's going to be the case because the hybrids are probably going to end up being very, very specific defined classes that are a combination of 2 that don't branch out too much. But that said, it's an interesting food for thought, you know. I don't know what the other classes would end up being. I did end up playing a little bit of the Dragon's Dogma MMO, which has since been discontinued. There are private servers, but that had a couple other classes that we haven't seen in Dogma 2 yet. So maybe they're getting migrated over. Who knows? You know, the game is still roughly 2 months away, so that's plenty of time for them to advertise all of these various things and all these various classes. And most of all, I just wanted to have this as a video because I've been seeing a lot of videos talking about like all the classes we know about thus far and kind of theorizing about what's going on with all of them and stuff. And then when I was looking at this image last night, my buddy noticed all of the color coding and I was just like, dude, that's actually big brain. That's probably completely true. Now, as far as what my main's going to be, probably this guy. That said, we haven't seen a hybrid class that uses like a greatsword or anything. That said, the only real hybrid class that seems to use weapons from the previous classes is the magic archer, where it's using a bow. Granted, the arrows themselves are kind of like a big old crazy ass spell, but my point being is that Spearhand uses, you know, a twin blade. Trickster uses, you know, the perfumer's pot from Elden Ring or whatever. Point being that all of these hybrid classes seem to be extremely unique. And so I'm very curious to see what the other ones are, because they can just be completely out of the ballpark, something very, very different than we've seen before. But so far, Mystic Spearhand is gonna be my main. Anyways, you can sound off in the comments if you have a main that you're looking forward to. Either way, I'm excited for this game and I hope you are too.